Jazz and Beyond,
where the standards are always hot
and the mood's just right.
On 702
and CapeTalk.
It is Jazz and Beyond. Welcome to the second hour. Is Fela Kuti here? No. It is Benjamin Jephta. Yeah, I know. You're loving and hearing these Afro beats, jazzified like I am. And you're thinking, what is happening? He is here. He's Benjamin Jephta, and he's paying us a visit here on Jazz and Beyond on 702 and CapeTalk, where you come for the jazz and you stay for a good time. Hello, Benjamin.
Hi, Nothemba.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I am so happy to actually start our conversation with this very upbeat, very, I think, celebratory kind of song as well.
Yeah.
And also giving us a taste and a look at who Benjamin Jephta is becoming.
For sure. I think it's more of like a taste of who I always was in many ways. I mean, I always thought I was like this multifaceted, like many people are,
for sure,
person with interest in many different styles of music, especially being a bass player. I got to play with so many different artists, and I think this album is on one hand a celebration of kind of the South African jazz scene in many ways, but the influences are from the South African music scene in general almost.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping to convey when we release this album late in the year, yeah.
Which is lovely because, I mean, you've got 3 other albums, before this one that we'll talk about. And also, even with those are just different aspects of, like you say, your influences.
Yeah.
And each time you just clearly are just opening another door that we didn't know existed.
Yeah, kind of giving you an inside look, a behind the scenes look to who I am through the art. Yeah, for sure.
But I like the fact that you're also going up north into the continent, and those influences are coming through in your music. Last night I was hosted in a jazz show in Nigeria.
Oh,
yes,
great.
And we were talking about some of the African jazz musicians.
Yes.
That I was introduced to some that I didn't know. And I love the fact that also South African musicians, it was a tribute to Faya Faku, the show I was in.
Yes.
And some of the, obviously Nigerian listeners were being introduced to South African musicians because it's the only time listeners get to know about who else is out there, because online it's so difficult, to find on the African continent. It just becomes very confused.
Yes, for
you
sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah. These shows are a gateway to kind of dive into the scene in some ways.
So I was hosted by a jazz radio host called Bassman in Nigeria yesterday, and I love the fact that we get to hear our music played there, and I was also introduced into some of the jazz, and I was actually saying that a lot of the African jazz musicians I only get to be exposed to by the South African jazz musicians who get to interact with them.
No, sure.
And then they tell me, "Hey, do you know about this guy?" and stuff like that.
It's a although like I feel like Africa isn't connected as we could be between all the countries, especially with the jazz scene. I was just a couple of months, maybe 2 months ago, I was at this conference in Germany called the Jazz Ahead showcase, where I was showcasing some of my work, and it was cool because they are kind of connected with the African Jazz Network, and so there are plans for us to kind of become more connected than we I think we could be. Like you said, we know of each other, but I feel like we don't often visit each other's countries and play with each other and perform with each other. So I think
which is exactly what we were talking about.
Of where we can move forward. Yeah,
and we're actually talking about that make it easier for people to try to go from one African country
Yes.
to another.
No, for sure.
Instead
yeah.
of going to Europe first, just going next door,
Sure,
those kind
sure,
of
yeah.
those kind of things. So tell me about why you're reimagining your 2015 album Homecoming, and why that one in particular.
Yeah, I think in many ways. So I released my first album in 2015, like you said, called Homecoming, and it was kind of my introduction to many people, whether it's people that listen to my music or people I perform with now in the South African music scene. And I think it kind of set the tone for who I wanted to be as an artist. I always wanted to be the artist that kind of can comment or provide stories and tell stories about the community he comes from, and tell kind of give the listener a picture of where I come from through the music. And I think that initial album was kind of conceptually steering me in that direction. So everything that really follows afterwards, whether they are albums or any kind of artistic output, it's always centered around trying to understand who I am and kind of ideas around identity, not only, for example, in South Africa, racial identity, but also kind of social identity and what it means to be a young person in South Africa, what it means to be a young person playing jazz, what it means to be playing jazz in 2025 versus what jazz meant in South Africa during apartheid. All of those things we have to grapple with in the music.
Can you answer all those questions now?
I think for me, it's never been about answering the questions. I think it's always trying to find the right question to ask, really, and it's the journey of kind of uncovering those dynamics for me that really has been more important to my journey as an artist and as a human being, really. Yeah.
And obviously especially very poignant is the album that you came up with where it was, the Born Colored, Not Born Free, which was a very significant album because for the first time, I think, well, as far as I'm aware, that you brought eyes into that reality of the colored community in our country, at least in a musical sense. And also, I love the fact that it became so important. I actually saw that it even got a following, 1 million views. On Spotify, I think it was, because people clearly needed to get that information. For you though, how was it received? I guess also by the colored community and also the issues that you were bringing up. Did it have the impact you wanted?
I think that the message was received openly. I think while the story is centered around my experience as a colored person, is not unique to colored people, and I think that's what people kind of resonated with. And I think people were in many ways also their eyes were opened or they were surprised by certain things, but by other things not so much. And I think as far as the journey of a young person in South Africa, a lot of young people resonated with the idea of us having a sense of being promised things in our country and those things never being delivered. And while I'm looking at it through my lens of being a colored male in South Africa, again, it resonated with many people because I think there's a similar kind of feelings towards social identity. There's a social identity kind of crisis within South Africa and how we view ourselves and our society views us. I don't mean colored people. I mean in general.
On the general.
In the general, yeah.
And then there is then the women, and then it's the young people, and then it's the colored folk. It's so people really, I think, resonated with that idea as a whole. And I think also, I mean, I put a lot of, I'm very proud of even just how I was able to relay the message through music because art is so subjective. Like I could say the song is about so-and-so and play the music and you can be like, I don't feel that way. But I did feel that
in my experience of performing the music constantly and having these discussions at gigs and performances, there are things that, it's a very complex issue, first of all, that I was able to communicate through the music.
Yeah.
And people could really understand it that way even better than what I could even say.
Yeah. I want to play another reimagined song from the Homecoming Revisited, and this is the one that features Kujenga.
Yeah,
and it's the latest single.
Yeah, we just released it on Friday. Yeah,
and I love the fact that you're engaging. Not that you are any older, but the younger folk in it. Let's hear it. For now, and then we'll talk about it.
Sure.
It is Jazz and Beyond. My guest is Benjamin Jephta, who some call Benjamini, on Jazz and Beyond, where you come for the jazz and you stay for a good time. It is the music of Benjamin Jephta on Jazz and Beyond. This is called The Blessing, and he's featuring the apparent new jazz voices of South Africa, Kujenga, his young 7-member band. And I like the fact that Benjamin, there's all these collaborations with the younger bands and younger musicians. And why was it important for you, though?
Yeah, I think a lot of what Kujenga is doing or trying to do with the music is what I was trying to do back when I released that album. In many ways, is to kind of make jazz more accessible to young people, essentially.
Sure.
I mean, at its core, jazz is social music, and over the years, it's kind of had adapted different meanings and different identities. But I kind of want to get back to that idea of social, not just in the way that we listen to jazz when we're with friends, but as in the sense that when we as musicians get together, it's also a way for us to connect and meet each other and play with each other. So it was kind of really that idea. And so Kujenga's on the album, but on the album also you're going to find Bokani Daya, Sonke Tonti, Sia Makuzeni, Robin Fassi, Ndabo Zulu, Linda Sikakana. I mean, these are just some of the names. Ligan, Spalelo Mazubuko. I mean, the McKenna brothers on percussion. I mean, it's going to be lit for sure.
And of course, it's you're releasing it incidentally in September.
Yes.
The week before the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz.
Yeah. The Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, I think, I'm performing on the 26th of September. And for me, that performance was also a celebration of this work.
Yeah.
So we'll actually feature the original quintet with Marcus Wyatt, Sisoke Tonti, Carl Shepard, and Spalelo Mazubuko. As well as Khonse, I think he's going to come through on percussion. And so we're going to kind of pay homage to the original album. Maybe we'll have some of these rearrangements.
Sure.
Or maybe we'll just perform it the way the people like it or prefer it.
Well, I think Kujenga's going to be there.
I'm not sure.
I'm not
sure.
The lineup is so long. I can't remember who's on.
It's a big lineup for sure.
Okay, so that's what people can look forward to.
Yes, they can look forward to that original band playing some of this music.
Yeah.
And so it's just gonna be like a celebratory performance of this music.
Yeah. Yesterday I was watching live on YouTube the funeral of Brafea Faku, and it was just sad, touching, and also just watching the musicians perform during the funeral session, and I could see the sadness which they were trying to hide while performing, and all of them obviously have had a moment and a time with him, and you have.
Yes.
As well for quite a while. In fact, you were there when we had the performance at Mandela Sanctuary, which is the last time I saw him perform. And you had a special, you made a special tribute on social media, and you said, Brafea wasn't just a master musician; he was a gentle, generous mentor. His presence commanded respect, but his humility and warmth made you feel like you belonged. in so many ways. He planted the seeds for generations of musicians to come, and I count myself lucky to be one of them. Thank you, Brafeya. You gave us more than you could know. Ooh,
Yeah.
Rest easy, King. I thought that was just so special. What being a young musician, and he was also young once upon a time as well, obviously. And also just being exposed to legends like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you went to New York, you went to Berkeley, you were also exposed to other great, legendary musicians. And it's like, I envy musicians like you. I'm like, you guys get to hang out with people that some of us dream of seeing. And, like I played Terilyn Carrington just before the news. And you played with her. Yeah. And she's also said some amazing things about you, and why is that important for you as for any young musician to make sure that you hang on to the jacket or the coat of someone who's been doing this for a while?
The jazz music in general is an oral tradition. I mean, now we are in institutions and we teach it, which is an interesting way of kind of disseminating the information. But the real way to get the information out there is to do it through playing with people who have played for a long time and understand the music through talking, speaking, and hanging out, as it were. And
in informal and formal.
In informal and formal settings. I think with Brafeya in particular, because we mentioned him now. Yeah. When I was in high school, I was very much into Black American music, so American jazz. Let's say that way, and I still am in many ways. But I didn't give two minds to kind of local South African jazz or South African music. And I went on this camp, and on the camp, it was Andre Peterson, who also passed away, Brafeya Faku, I remember Robbie Jansen was there, Basil Moses, all of these legends passed away. And all the camp was about kind of disseminating this information from the elders and playing and learning through playing South African music. And it was really my first encounter of playing South African jazz, quite late in many ways, if you hear what high school kids are playing nowadays, which is great, I think. And so then I was like, there's something about South African jazz that's very unique. I didn't know what it was, but it's definitely, there was a feeling to the music, there was an intention behind the music, and I think Brafeya was very much responsible for that kind of epiphany for me, kind of me realizing, look, there's something here at home. Look, American jazz is cool and there's a lot to learn from that, but there's really something at home. If you even play with Brafeya, I speak to my friends, Pokani and Keenan Owens, who play with Brafeya a lot. It's cool to play with Brafeya because he can come with the kind of these lead sheets, much like in American music. But when you play the song, it's like, it sounds so South African. It sounds so low, like from home, but like with amazing kind of intention behind the music, and still paying homage to where the music comes from through the Black American experience, but with our own kind of flavor through it. Yeah.
There's a uniqueness, and there's something about it that you can't copy.
Definitely, it's we always joke, but Brafeya used to say this thing. It's called the hidden triplet. It's like, because it's this thing, which is what you will hear about jazz in general, kind of this triplet feel, like 2 and 3 together. But he's like, yes, the hidden triplet. That's the thing about South African music. So, now we were just in Makanda this week, and we were just kind of thinking about all those times, and every time we would play, hidden triplet, play the hidden triplet.
Fantastic. Well, something else you're celebrating is fatherhood.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And how is it being a daddy?
It's been interesting. I think I'm still processing. I mean, the guy, his name is Addison, and he's like a month old now. So still processing what's happening, but very grateful to my wife and to him for being around, things are going to change for sure.
Are you looking for some signs that, he's going to be like you more than his mother?
I definitely think he's already like me. I just feel
daddy issues.
I just feel that way.
Really? Wow.
So yeah,
that's
and hopefully
beautiful, man.
He's gonna slow me down because I think I need a break at some point.
You travel quite a lot. It's gonna be hard on you.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But we're excited. Yeah.
Well, Benjamin.
Yep.
We thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm going to play your song, Benjamin, actually.
Yeah.
And who called you Benjamin?
It's actually when Orbit days, I used to play with all the different whatever bands were there. And it was actually Nothemba Madumo, the dope one.
The dope one.
Who used to come to me because it kind of has to do with that project about, I feel like I am black and not this color. And he's like, hey, you black man, I'm calling you Benjamin. And so then that's basically how it came out. Yeah.
All the best with you and Parenthood and obviously the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz performance. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me and thank you for
my
your
pleasure.
listeners. Yeah.